I mean, why can't it be the best of Maldives? Welcome to Best of British. In this instalment, we're here in Crewe near Manchester to visit Bentley Motors. Welcome to Bentley's wood shop. It's here where 152 craftsmen and women make the wood veneers for the Mulsanne, Bentayga and Continental series. Now you have to check out some of this. As well as selecting it from places like, well, there's California, the UK, Europe, Spain, can't see any Australia, there's some China there. But as well as selecting it from those countries, probably the most important thing is the actual finding the bits of usable wood. So here, one of the master craftsmen has already selected that this bit here between the white lines is usable, and over that, well, that's for the bin. Once the selection has been made, we move on to the next part of the process, and that involves cutting the veneer with lasers. And that gives a really high precision, but there's a problem. Most of the wood in there isn't big enough for the entire length of the dashboard. So Bentley uses two bits of veneer from the same cutting and joins them together to give what is in effect a mirror image. It looks really stunning. That piece of veneer is combined to 5 pieces of natural wood and 5 adhesive layers, and then it's going to go into the pressing, and it's pressed together at about 140 degrees centigrade at 120 bar for about 5 minutes. Now, before the veneer can be lacquered, this piece of wood goes through a really intricate part of the process. And the reason it's hand sanded and not done by machines is because this is only 0.6 millimeters thick. So any machine around some of these intricate parts here would just damage the wood. By the way, in case you're interested, around 30% of all veneers are piano black. And they don't really like that around here because you can't see any of this intricate detail. The most popular finish is walnut, and get this, 10% of all Bentayga owners option for carbon fibre. Won't mention that around here. Now behind me, Robbie the robot is getting busy. We can't actually go in because it's highly flammable. What you will see though is 18 hangers going around, and they're sprayed with an ultra thin layer of lacquer, and it takes about 2 hours. So it goes around in a circle, it dries a little bit, it's sprayed again for 2 hours before it goes next door where it's cured at 50 degrees for another 2 hours. Now these do not feel like normal sanding papers. These are nowhere near as coarse as a thing you'd rub down an old door with. In fact, this one is practically smooth. But for 40 minutes, they use all 3 to give it that incredible finish. And the reason it's done by hand is it needs that hand-eye coordination to realise the finish is absolutely perfect before it goes on to final polishing. And this is the very final part of the wood process, where the pieces of veneer are polished by hand. And it has to be done by hand because this is something a machine just can't do perfectly. And here we have the final product, freshly hand polished. It's almost warm to touch. So it's here in this part of the section because this is where it undergoes quality control, and any parts that don't measure up, they go in a bin over there, I'd imagine. Now you find us here in the trim shop. Over 350 employees work here, and there's a huge amount of craftsmanship going on. Would you believe it? 12 of these are used for the typical Bentayga. This particular hide's from Germany, and it goes to a tannery in Italy, and it's claimed to be the highest quality, but it's not perfect. So you can see they mark up areas here which they won't use. In fact, they say out of this big piece of leather, only about 5 square meters is usable, hence the need for so many hides. Okay, this is a really cool part of the process. You can actually see the machine cutting the leather. And the reason it's done by a machine is because a computer program works out all the usable pieces of leather, avoiding all the imperfections here. You can have anything embroidered onto your headrest at Bentley. So at the moment we're just sticking Terry's sticking the leather part of the steering wheel on. And it's really fiddly, isn't it?
It is quite fiddly, yes, yeah.
Now, behind me are 32 women. Yes, we're here at Bentley's sewing station. Now that makes me sound terribly sexist, but trust me, some of the levels of skill, some of the levels of craftsmanship, craftswomanship that goes on behind me is simply incredible. Okay, we're on the W12 assembly line, and right now we are watching the trickiest part of the build, and it is sighting the pistons. And the reason it's tricky is because it relies on a very precise location of the piston rings. So each of these stations, the technicians only have 13.8 minutes to work on their job. And there's 24 of them. So to fully build a W12 takes 331 minutes. Oh, the marriage. These two lovebirds, they should be together for an eternity. Unless the engine blows up or the car gets scrapped. Why did I dig in at the end of the... Yeah. So there we have it. We have reached the end of the Bentley Bentayga production line. Today, the factory says it has made 30 cars. And that's not including the 29 Continentals and 4 Mulsanne models it's also made. That is pretty impressive considering the amazing amount of craftsmanship we've seen involved. I guess at Bentley, that's all in a day's work.